Human domestication is the invisible masterpiece of modern civilization. You wake up, work, consume, sleep, and repeat without ever questioning who programmed this cycle. The system doesn't need chains when it can make you love your own prison. Nietzsche warned, "Those who dance are considered insane by those who cannot hear the music." But what if the music you hear is just the noise of the gears that keep you spinning? The modern worker has been transformed into the perfect product. Obedient, predictable, indebted, and convinced that freedom is choosing between two bosses. The rat race is not an economic accident. It is social architecture, and you are in it right now, paying for the privilege of never stopping running. The question is not whether you are in the race. It's whether you will finally admit that you are running on a wheel that leads nowhere. The price of consciousness is high, but the cost of unconsciousness is your entire life. Fear is the system's most valuable currency. From the first day of school, you learn a lesson that never appears in the official curriculum. Obey or suffer the consequences. The red mark, the failing grade, the disappointment of parents, all calibrated to create a Pavlovian reflex of submission. Schopenhauer observed that life oscillates like a pendulum between pain and boredom. The educational system has transformed this oscillation into a method of control. The pain of imminent failure alternating with the boredom of safe routine. You never learn about money, investments, or wealth creation. You learn to sit in line, get up when the bell rings, ask permission for basic needs, and accept that there is a natural hierarchy where some command and others obey. This is not education, it is mass domestication. The modern worker is the final product of this psychological assembly line. You leave school trained to exchange obedience for approval, time for salary, autonomy for stability. The diploma is not a certificate of knowledge, it is a certificate of conformity. You passed the tests. You proved that you can memorize what they tell you, repeat what they expect, accept what they determine. Now you are ready for the job market, where these same skills ensure that you remain exactly where the system needs you, producing value for others while consuming enough to never accumulate real capital. The fear of unemployment, of the overdue bill, of social judgment, all of this works like an invisible electric fence. You don't even try to escape because the shock of fear precedes the attempt. Propaganda calls this responsibility. Society calls it maturity. The system calls it reality. But the truth is more brutal. You have been transformed into human fuel for a machine that cannot stop. Your anxiety about the future, your stress about money, your insomnia thinking about bills. All of this is functional, not accidental. A fearful worker is a productive worker. A fearful worker accepts lower wages, worse conditions, daily humiliations. Fear keeps you negotiating downwards in the only life you have, and the most perverse part. You have been taught to call this fear prudence and common sense. Bonhoeffer wrote, "Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice." The average worker is not evil. He has been made stupid enough not to realize that he is working against himself. And when someone tries to wake him up, he defends the system that enslaves him. This is the masterpiece, making the slave guard his own cell. The absence of financial education in schools is not carelessness, it is strategy. You spend 16 years being prepared for the job market, but no one teaches you how money really works. You learn about mitochondria, ancient wars, equations you will never use, but not about compound interest, income-generating assets, or how the banking system creates money out of thin air. This ignorance is purposeful. A financially literate worker is a dangerous worker for the established order. He understands that he is being exploited. he realizes that the game is rigged. He may start to question why he works 40 years to enrich others while struggling to pay his own bills. The educational system was designed at the height of the Industrial Revolution to produce obedient workers, not independent thinkers. You learn to follow instructions, not to question authority. You learn to solve problems that others define, not to identify which problems really matter. You learn about the value of hard work and loyalty. Values convenient for those who need cheap and stable labor. But you never learn that there is a fundamental difference between working for money and making money work for you. This simple distinction separates those who build wealth from those who spend their lives chasing it. And the system ensures that you remain in the second group, chasing your own tail while calling it professional progress. When you finally leave school and enter the real world, the trap closes completely. Without financial knowledge, you make the worst possible decisions with the little money you earn. You buy a car on credit, use a credit card as an extension of your salary, confuse liabilities that drain money with assets that generate income. You work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, but your money doesn't work at all. It sits in your checking account, losing value to inflation, or worse. It is invested in investments that only enrich banks and brokerage firms while giving you miserable returns. Financial ignorance turns you into an eternal consumer of bad financial products and an eternal producer of wealth for others. You are the system's most valuable asset, and you don't even know it. The knowledge that truly liberates is not in any official curriculum. You need to learn on your own that there are only two real economic classes: those who live off passive income and those who live by exchanging time for money. The middle class believes it is on the path to the first category, but in reality, it is just the better paid version of the second. The doctor, the engineer, the lawyer, all trapped in the same trap. The more they earn, the more they spend, the more they need to work. The luxury rat race is still a wheel. And until you understand the difference between active and passive income, between assets and liabilities, between working in the business and owning the business, you will remain exactly where you are, running faster to stay in the same place. The rich don't play the same game as you. This is the truth that no one wants to admit because it completely destroys the illusion of meritocracy that keeps the system running. You have been taught that wealth is the result of hard work, education, and discipline. But observe the really rich. They don't work more hours than you. They are not necessarily smarter. They have not sacrificed more. The difference is not in the effort. It is in the understanding. They know that there are two games happening simultaneously, and the masses play the wrong game their entire lives without realizing that there is another board. In the game you were taught to play, you exchange time for money. You study to get a better job. You worked to receive a salary. You save to buy things. This game has a natural limit. You only have 24 hours a day. No matter how hard you try, there is a ceiling to how much you can earn by selling your time. And worse, in this game, you are a cost that needs to be minimized. Every raise you receive is less profit for the person who employs you. You are structurally positioned to lose. The most you can achieve in this game is to survive comfortably, never prosper exponentially. In the game that the rich play, money works for them. They buy assets that generate income, companies, real estate, stocks, royalties, intellectual property. While you sleep, their money is working. While you are on vacation, their businesses continue to produce. They don't sell time. They sell systems. They don't exchange hours for RAS. They multiply capital by leverage. And the most brutal part, the more money they have, the easier it is to make more money. The banking system offers cheap credit to those who are already rich and expensive credit to those who are poor. The best investment opportunities require high minimum capital. Tax laws favor those who have capital income over those who have labor income. The game is not only different, it is deliberately unfair. Orwell wrote, "In times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act." The truth about the money game is revolutionary because it destroys the narrative that the system is fair. It never was. It was designed to concentrate wealth, not distribute it. Social mobility exists enough to keep the illusion alive, but not enough to threaten the structure. A few managed to change classes, and these exceptional cases are celebrated as proof that the system works. But the real statistic is brutal. Most die in the same class they were born into, and not for lack of effort, for lack of understanding that they are playing a different game than they imagine, with different rules than they were taught, against opponents who have structural advantages that you cannot even see. The permanent job has become a symbol of the correct life. You grow up hearing that you need to study to get a good job, as if a job were the ultimate goal of human existence. Your parents ask about your career. Society judges you by your position. You define your identity by the company where you work, and no one stops to question the fundamental premise: why are you selling most of your waking life to enrich someone else in exchange for crumbs calculated to keep you trapped? The trap is perfect because it is comfortable. They pay you enough so you don't starve, but not enough to accumulate real capital. They give you benefits that seem like advantages, but are golden chains. Health insurance that only works while you work. Private pension that traps you for decades. Food vouchers that supplement the insufficient salary. You wake up every day chasing stability, believing it's freedom, but it's not. Every raise, every benefit is just a golden chain keeping you in the same loop. Work, earn, spend, repeat. You trade your potential for predictability, your dreams for comfort, and call it success. Debt becomes your leash, consumption your cage. You buy to feel alive, but end up emptier each time. Real freedom begins when you stop proving, stop consuming, and start asking, what do I truly want? The system wins only if you keep believing in it. The moment you stop, the chains begin to fall.